All right, another week. Hopefully, everybody can hear me here in the ocean. But another week back. Genesis Scottish Open week. We're not even going to talk about the John Deere, even though Brian Campbell, very impressive, 2 wins, hits the ball 270.
It's crazy. It's
He's a
crazy.
flusher with his irons and his short woods. That double, he
I
can
told you he's the
double.
best. I told you in Mexico he's the best wood player I've ever seen. And I mean there's no other way to win hitting a 270 on PGA Tour courses other than being an elite long iron player and an elite wood player. And I mean Cam Young and Tommy Fleetwood have 0 wins and Brian Campbell has 2 wins in 2 months.
Yeah, he's locking up his status for next year in elevated events, and good for
Yeah.
him. But all right, so on to the Scottish Open. We got a fun event. It's nice to get back to this part of the world. It's a different type of golf out there. It's enjoyable, right? A nice little warm up for the Open next week. Got
Yep.
most of the big names playing this week. A couple guys are sitting out, most notably Cam Young. But it's going to be a good week of golf. What do you got on the Scottish Open?
I mean, it's an elite field. You got Scotty, Rory, Xander, Fleetwood, Morikawa, Ludwig. I mean, it's pretty much a PGA Tour elevated event, but obviously you got a full field, a bunch of DP World Tour guys in it. You got even Eugenio Chichara
Yeah,
making PGA Tour debut after being on Live a couple years
sure.
back.
Yeah.
It's a good field. You got some good, obviously, DP World Tour guys that are at some really solid numbers compared to what they normally are, playing in events on their side of the lake. So definitely interested to see what goes on, but it does seem like the weather might not be too much of a factor. So these guys are probably going to get after the course like we've seen in years past.
Yeah, they get to like that 15, 18 range when it's playing pretty easy.
Yeah, last year was 18. I think Rory was right around like that 15 range, and he finished birdie to close
And it
that
was
one out.
windy the last day there.
Exactly. So I mean, it's really like I think Thursday's supposed to be somewhat windy, like 12 to 15 miles per hour, but the rest of the week as of right now, it doesn't really seem like there's going to be any effect on these guys and just attacking the course.
So, I mean, when you talk about the top of the board, I'd like to see Scotty get his game going over on this side of the pond, as you
Yeah.
said. He hasn't really contended in a British.
No.
Um, I think he's played here a couple times in the past. I don't think
He
he's really
played well.
contended.
Yeah, he came I saw like on those past results, he was didn't play well one year, but that was like his 2022, his first year when he really took off. And then 2023, I think he was like tied for third or something. So I mean, he's played well here. It's just a matter of Scotty doesn't usually like to play the week before major for the
Yeah.
most part, but obviously he seems to want to get a couple more reps in, I guess, before the Open.
Yeah, I think he just wants to get a feel for, this style of golf. He's a high
Yep.
ball hitter, he really is, flusher the ball.
Yep.
But he's just gotta, he'll figure. So I'm sure he'll peel off a win over here sooner or later.
Yeah, it's Scotty Scheffler. But I mean, the rest of the field is elite too, right? Like Scotty's
Okay.
obviously top of the board, plus 360. You got Rory plus 800. Xander's up there 18 to 1. We know Xander's, pretty solid over here. He won, I forget what year he won this. I think it was the first year that the course it's currently played at hosted the events, the Renaissance Club, when he went -7 with like some pretty bad wind that week. And then obviously last year he won the Open. So Xander's proven he can play on over here. Fleetwood 22 to 1, Colin 25 to 1. And Colin, I mean, I'm not sure if you saw, he has what's his name?
Billy
Foster. I forget
Foster.
his Billy Foster on the bag these next 2 weeks. I guess it's like a 2 week arranged
Test.
marriage, it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, a little test. And I mean, more you think about it, this really could be a perfect week for Rory, who seemed to be playing a little bit better at the Travelers. No wind. Has played well here in the past, and he's just when he's on, he's on. He's gonna hit his 350-yard drive every hole without any wind.
Yeah, it seems like this is a course that does play into longer hitters somewhat, from what I could tell. I mean, last year we had Adam Scott second, Ludwig Aberg fourth. You had Rory in the top four, Wyndham up there in the top 10. I mean, obviously, you got Colin in there, Aaron Rye as well. So it's not all long ball hitters, but I'm pretty sure this is a course where you could grip it and rip it for the most part, all, being if the wind isn't too much of a factor like it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those courses. You can miss it a little off the fairway, you're fine. But once you get too far off the fairway, some thick stuff comes in pretty quickly.
I agree.
All right, so when we're a couple guys I was thinking about, I'm not gonna talk about them in the picks. It'd be fun to see Jake Knapp play over here.
I think is he not playing this
No,
week?
he is.
Yeah, he's 100 to 1. I mean, and that he's gonna literally hit that stinger like he does every other week, I assume, off every tee box.
Potgieter's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what his injury was, but I mean, I this is the type of golf that I think he grew up playing somewhat, so I mean, it should be a pretty solid fit for him, and he's been hot, obviously. So driver, putter, that's really the main thing over here, and I think as long as he's healthy, I wouldn't be surprised to actually see him up there again come Sunday with just how hot he's been somewhat.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's for him, chipping and pitching around here is tough, but you can putt a lot too, which would be good for him. So he's going to be pulling the Johnny Dice out and putting from 35 yards away from the pin.
And then you have a bunch of guys like Rasmus Njergaard Peterson. I think he's paired up with Luke Donald, if I'm remembering correctly. And obviously I think he's in the bottom half of that European side for the Ryder Cup, still battling for a spot. So I mean, these are important weeks for guys like him. Who else is it? I mean, they're talking about maybe Højgaard, I'm sure as well. Important week for him. And these next 2 weeks, you think about like Maverick McNeely. Who else is
Oh,
there?
the other, well, Ben Griffin's not playing.
Yeah, Ben Griffin. But just like these next 2 weeks, in terms of like having a lot of points to still get with these two events, it's just a really important, couple week span for these guys trying to make a push for that team still.
Like, is Harris English playing? I don't see
Yeah,
him.
he is. He's at
Oh, he is.
65 to 1.
Yep. That's a big week for him, right? He can really start locking up his spot if he plays well the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's played well over here before, but
I was gonna say I think he's not usually the best player over here, and I mean if I'm just
he's a
thinking about
high ball hitter.
exactly, he's a high ball hitter for the most part.
So who you thinking for your first couple picks?
Yeah, all right. So for my first play this week, I'm going with Ludwig Oberg, and he's at 30 to 1 this week. And I like, overall it's been I wouldn't even say up and down season for Ludwig. He had a really solid start, obviously winning the Genesis at Torrey. And then it really hasn't been anything good since. He's had a couple good rounds filtered in here and there, but very inconsistent golf. And I mean, I think it's obviously a matter of time before his type of talent gets it turned around. And he's played well on this side of the world as well. I mean, going back to last year, I think it was minus 16, minus 17 going into the last day, tied for the lead or in the lead. Didn't have the best last day, but he's proven he can play well here. And I just think, again, it's a matter of time till Ludwig finds his game. And, a number like 30 to 1, it's not something we see next to his name too often. So I'm going to take, a snap at it, see if he could find some form again. And if so, it should be a pretty good fit. He's obviously long and straight. He can putt it when he gets going. So I think it all should be a pretty good fit if he's able to find something in his swing with these past couple weeks off that he had.
I mean, it could take just a good round for it to click back and be like, all right, I'm Ludwig Aberg. I got to step
Exactly.
up here and make, just start contending again. It's been months since he's really played meaningful golf per se.
Yeah,
Um, but he's so talented, and
exactly.
he wants to get some momentum going into the playoffs, into the Ryder Cup, because I
Yeah.
think he definitely cares about that stuff.
And I mean, I think 30 to 1's a really solid number for his type of player on like a course like this, where, maybe some of the other guys coming over from the tour aren't going to be able to pick up on it as quickly as him because he sort of grew up playing this style of golf so much. So I think it should be a pretty good fit and hopefully just able to find something.
Yeah, I agree. So I got a celebrity pick, two picks from my father-in-law, Mike. One is Ludwig, so I want to throw that out there, and then the other is it's Patrick, 34 to 1. So we got two celebrity picks this week.
Wow.
Uh,
Fitch
and
is down to 34 to 1. Wow.
wasn't that 40?
Yeah, I mean it might have been at 40, but I just mean in general, like he's been playing better lately. It's just
And he's a guy who really did play up. He grew up in England, so similar
exactly.
sort of golf.
No, I know.
The tour
I
is so different for like the Open. I mean, you got like Hatton up there as one of the favorites.
exactly. I mean, I think Fitz will be if the wind can somewhat pick up on the weekend, I think that definitely plays into his hands with, like you said, he grew up on this stuff and he knows how to play in some
And he was starting to swing a little bit better.
he
Like,
is. No, he's had some better results. He played what was that? The one where everybody was in it a couple weeks ago.
oh,
Aldrich, the
in
Rocket.
Detroit.
Yeah, he's the Rocket. He was up in contention there, so he has shown some better form.
Yep. All right, so my first pick, I'm gonna go with Xander. Been on him a couple times this year. It's kind of a similar story. His game has been turning around. He's playing solid golf overall. He's got to drive it a little bit straighter, and he's got to make some more putts, and he's going to be posting some pretty consistent rounds. And I think he likes this part of the world when it comes to golf the last couple of years. So I like Xander 18-1. I think those are solid odds for Xander.
It is. I mean, Xander again. Somewhat similar to Ludwig. Obviously, a bit different because Xander's more came off an injury to start the year.
And
Ludwig's
he's
just
got
sort
a
of
bunch of top 20s,
yeah.
like
He's like played well. It just hasn't been to the standard that we somewhat boosted him to after he won two majors last year.
yeah,
But I
he's
agree.
had
18,
that type of year.
yeah, 18-1 solid number, and he's somebody that I think clearly wants to get going, knows he needs to step up his game because he expects more out of himself. So I definitely like that as well.
All right, and then the second pick, I'll go back to back. I got plus 4,000 Viktor Hovland. So I don't know still what happened at the Travelers with the withdrawal. What was her again? Do you remember?
It was neck. Like so he was nothing. He
Oh
said he
yeah,
was warming up on the range and it flared up and he just felt it a couple holes in again.
there was like four withdrawals that week. I forgot.
It was crazy.
But I like the way he was playing, right? US Open, he was in contention for the entire event. The couple events before that, putting was positive, right? Kind of just positive across the board, just wasn't really fully scoring. And last couple weeks he's back with Joe Mayo, which I always love to see. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that he'll be figuring his game out and be in a good spot here sooner or later. And 40-1 again is a solid number for Hovland.
Especially over here. I mean, that is a very solid number. If he's healthy, which I assume he is, because he's a player that's proven if he's not feeling good with his game, or obviously if he's not healthy, he simply doesn't care and he won't play. So I assume he is. That should be a pretty good number for his
Yeah,
type of
no, he doesn't give a shit. If he doesn't like where his game at, he just won't play.
exactly. And I assume he would do the same with an injury. But all right. So my second guy, I got same range. Sam Burns though, 40-1. And we talked about it a little bit. So we've done a complete 180 on Burns. I mean, we were shit talking him probably as much as anybody to start the year, and it was pretty justly sort of like what we were saying with how poor his iron game was, just how poor his ball striking was as a whole. And obviously, he's turned that around completely. He played great at the U.S. Open. Obviously, maybe got a couple bad breaks on some rulings regarding relief from what was it with the water? What's that called again? I don't know. I forgot it.
Wait, what? What hole?
Sam Burns, like when he didn't get relief,
Oh,
what I forget what the fucking thing's called. Um,
oh, against not against the sprinkler, but he didn't get the water. What is it called?
I don't know what it's called. I don't know why I can't
Oh,
remember.
wait. Oh, casual water. I mean, I'm
Yeah. So he didn't get relief from the casual water, sort of screwed him over a little bit. But I mean, Burns has been playing great golf for I'd say like a month and a half, 2 months at this point now, going back to Canada. And again, I've seen him play well here before. I think he really fell off the leaderboard, whatever year that was, because he was in a bunker, he plugged it right into
yeah.
the lip, and it sort of just screwed over his whole tournament. But he was up there in contention. I remember pretty vividly. And I mean, he's like we said before, he's one of the best putters in the world. And if his irons are matching up somewhat, like we have seen them these last 6 weeks at this point, he's a caliber of player that's definitely can get up there with the Scotties and Rorys when he's on a certain week. And he's shown he can make the putts to get to the range that you need to get to, like that minus 15 or lower range that we're gonna
Yeah.
need.
No, when he's playing good golf, like throughout the bag, he can compete with anybody. It's just he
Yeah,
wasn't first 4 or 5 months of the year. Now he
exactly.
is. He's been playing pretty consistent golf,
I mean, he's
especially.
deep. He's
Oh
deep.
yeah.
He could take advantage of the two par fives that are there. He could take advantage of the drivable par four that's there as well. So I mean, I love it. It's just a matter of if the irons can stay in the spot that they have been.
Yeah. No, I like that pick a lot. So then I'll do, what are you doing? Three or four?
I'm gonna do four because I got some longer shots.
Yeah, I also like Adam Scott 55-1. So he's coming off a really good US Open, right? Tough Sunday, so the finish won't look as good as he actually played for the week. Second here last year. right? As we were talking about before, McIntyre, kind of cheated his way to a win,
Oh my
but
God.
a win is a win. So he's not going to be thinking about that drop. He'll be thinking about that putt on 18. But
Yeah,
Scott, right? I mean, finished second here last year. He's been playing solid. It really comes down to the putter with him most of the time. He had a
100%.
little spell there in the middle of the year where he wasn't striking it great. But
But
that's
it's
gonna,
usually the putter. It's
yeah,
always the putter.
most of the time it's the putter. So 55 to 1. I like where his game's at. I'll go with Adam Scott.
I like that. I mean, he played well here last year. Just like you sort of said a couple of times, just a matter if he's making the putts because we know with his sort of ball flight and his ball striking, even if the wind does come up, it's not going to be an issue for him.
No, I mean when he's flushing it, he's
Ah,
flushing it.
yeah.
And
But all
they'll
right.
get to like 15 to 20, it looks like throughout, a couple times, which is still a lot of wind. I mean, if it's blowing 20,
No, yeah, I just saw certain reports that said like Friday to Sunday looks like just below like 5, 10 miles
uh,
per hour.
well, yeah,
And, yes,
that's
and
not a lot.
Thursday was like that 12 to 20 range. That could sort of make it a bit testy, obviously, at least day one.
Yep.
All right, and then for my third play, I'm going back to Ben on again. I've been on him a couple times now, a bit uncomfortable with how much I've been on him because he,
Mhm.
he doesn't really win. So, but either, I mean, I do like how his game has been trending. He's at 100 to 1 this week, and the one thing I did see is that like he's usually a pretty horrific putter, but looking at like the rabbit hole ball strat, the putting numbers on the rabbit hole for when he plays over here, he's one of the better putters when it comes to this course specifically. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the greens being a bit slower for him, where maybe he feels more comfortable on it compared to what he usually sees on tour. So I mean, with his if his putting is going to stay like that on this part of the world, I think his ball striking is getting to that point where like sort of his what we saw like last year, 2 years ago when he was really contending on a consistent basis. So all that 100 to 1, I definitely think it's worth a stab because again, he's one of those guys that's shown that he can play well at courses or events where you do need to go low to be in contention.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him. You remember that driver off the deck here?
Oh,
That was
ridiculous.
disgusting.
I know.
I like Ben On's game. I mean, you've loved Ben On for a while. It's just actually getting the win on Sunday. Even if he gets himself in position, that's one thing, and then it's a whole nother
I just
level.
like the number. I mean, I obviously I
Yeah.
love on just 100 to 1 though with his like his past success somewhat at this course and on this side of the world. I do think it's worth a shot because he's probably a bit more comfortable here than even he plays full time in the tour. It seems like his results are always better over here.
Yeah. No, for sure. All right, so those are my three picks. Was that your third or fourth?
That was my third. Who are your three?
I have Xander, I have Victor, and
Okay.
Adam Scott.
All right. So I'll give my fourth real quick. I'm going with another long shot, Thurston Lawrence 120 to 1.
Yeah, I like that.
We've seen Thurston pop up a couple times now this last month, I would say, on the
Yeah.
PGA. We're finally starting to find some form, get some comfort over there because he's been there most of the year now, but really hasn't seen some positive results yet. So I think that's obviously a good confidence booster for him. And I mean, this is what he's used to playing, right? He contended last year at the Open, really took advantage of the Saturday AM wave that was just so much like had basically perfect conditions compared to the afternoon, which is like a storm it looked like. So I mean 120 to 1, proven he could play well over here. This is where he's comfortable and he's showing some form. I think that's a really solid number for the player and the fit for a course like this.
I do like that a lot. He's a very streaky sort of player, it seems like, throughout the course of his career. And when he's playing good, he can rattle off wins. He did that his whole career over on the DP tour.
Yeah,
Uh,
he has a couple wins there, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I like that pick, 120 to 1. At least get your way, into the conversation by the weekend, and maybe he goes low.
Yeah, exactly, but it's a nice number. I mean, but I'm definitely interested to see how like Chikara plays this week. What's that young kid over there? Let me see. His name is Martin Kovra. I've been watching him a little bit because he's been in
He was
contention
in
a bunch.
contention last week, right?
Yeah, he seems like a stud, that kid. So I'm interested to watch him play a little bit. Um,
I
let's
like Ryan Fox is going to nuke the ball here.
let's see at 50.
Uh, 65.
Yeah. He gets a bit more respect because he's been like 70 to 120 all year. He gets a bit more respect when he comes back home.
Yeah, I like a Justin Rose and Ryan Fox top 20 parlay plus 14-12.
Yeah. For those two, top 20. Yeah, and
Think
this is
Rose is going to get his game back.
exactly. I don't think Rose is really going to contend, but at top 20, just he wants to see something good with his game before his, last shot of the year to get a major.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else you wanted to chat?
No, I already put out a post that you weren't going to be around
Yeah.
tonight, and we could tell that he is on a vacation and has to run out. So bit quicker of a show tonight, and we're also going to post pokes for the post picks for the ISCO Championship. Just not going to actually get into those, but hopefully Forbes can get the win there because he does need to get something going to lock up some status
What's
for.
his ranking?
It's not a. I think he's like that double on 17 killed him.
Is he inside the top 100?
I think. Let me see.
I mean, he coupled a second, you know,
Yeah, he's 83, so he's inside the top 100.
but he wants to make the playoffs.
Exactly. You want to make the playoffs. You want to just lock up the cards. So I mean, this is going to be a really good chance for him to get that. He's 16 to one. It's crazy.
That is, yeah. I mean, he's playing good golf.
Exactly.
But all right, we'll post those picks and we will see everyone next week for the Open.
Yes.